Okay, my present situation, guys, is I think I'm about to lose this job that I've had since April last year and be job hunting again. Shut up, phone. So the last time I talked to you, I think I talked to you about the 5-minute thing, wherein I noticed that staff members were trying to add sets of 5 minutes to my shift on top of some other times I've been working over my hours on the rota that they'd given me. So basically working for free, and all that adds up and amounts to a large amount that I would have been working for free unless I confronted them about it. And I was going to talk to the boss about it, and she'd like book me in for a meeting type thing where I go in and talk to her about it. I started doing a flexi delivery shift, and she comes in and says, "Do you want to talk about the thing now?" I'm like, "Let me get this done and then we'll talk about it." So I get ready. I've got a sheet of paper showing all the calculations and things of like how basically the business is making me work for free, and I never consented to that with the contract. And I went through the work contract, which is like an agreement between the employer and the employee, saying, look, there's nothing in this document that says that I should be working overtime over my hours that I've been given and not being paid for that work. And that's what I thought we were going to be talking about. And the discussion was very little about that. The boss just took it on a wild tangent, like way out. First of all, she said, there have been 2 complaints against you from customers. This is different from the crazy complaint, which is just not a complaint. It's just the guy who came in screaming his face at me in front of the manager about me having to ask another person when the hot food's done. And then she sided with that customer, obviously, straight after, and like psychoanalyzed me and said, if a customer asks you a question and you don't know the answer, don't tell them you don't know the answer. Say you do know the answer, even though you don't know what it is. Which I think is stupid. And then, so I'm thinking I'm about to go into a discussion with her about, like, you have been making me work overtime without pay. Can I renegotiate my contract so that both of us agree at what I'm being paid to work? And instead she's like, a customer had a complaint about you. I didn't know there was even a complaint until the boss said anything, because the customer didn't make it out to me that they were annoyed in any way. They seem really happy. I don't get how it became a complaint. And then there was a third complaint, and the boss just flat out refused to tell me what that was. I can't do anything. Like, I don't know when a complaint's happening. It seems to happen when I'm not on duty, and then nobody tells me about it until like ages later, when I can't do anything about it and I don't know what it was, so I can't change what I'm doing to fix it. So I still to this day do not know what that third complaint even was. She just brought it up, and then she goes off on a bunch of tangents about this complaint and stuff. And it's like how I should have known already, how I should change. I'm like, yeah, well, now I know that this was a complaint and this has just happened. I can obviously do things differently next time. And she's for some reason not understanding me and going like, no, you don't understand, you should know this already before anyone's told you anything. Like, and then she spent a while just kind of guilt tripping me into like, are you cut out for the job? Do you think you know how to do retail? I'm like, this is my 20th year doing retail. Yes, I know how to do it. It's the only thing I know how to do work-wise. It's the only thing I've ever done work-wise. And yeah, she just spent a while guilt-tripping me into it. And yeah, the thing that cut me the most deeply is she moved on from that to say, every member of staff has had something bad to say about you. And I was like, what? Like, even my friends amongst the staff, I got 3 different colleagues who I enjoy working with, who are really nice to me. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what did they say? And she's like, oh, I won't go into specifics, but they have. And so what do we do about that? Should I do disciplinary action? With these complaints, I will need to call my area manager and it could turn into something serious. And she's like, we've had complaints, so what's going wrong? What have you done to make these complaints happen? I'm like, I haven't done anything. I've been doing everything that the staff and the business has told me to do to the letter. And she's going, yeah, but we're still getting complaints. So I'm like, well, I can't affect that. I don't know why you're getting complaints. I don't even know when you're getting complaints because you don't tell me. I don't even know what the third complaint was, so you're still not telling me what the complaints are. And she's like, yeah, but we're getting complaints, so it's obviously your fault. So how do you think you can change that? Like, well, if a customer comes in, like, it's up to them whether they're complaining. It's like not in my hands whether a customer complains. And she's obviously done a survey of 3 people out of 300 to 400 customers a week that we serve, saying that they've got a problem with me, but she hasn't done a survey of all the people who like what I'm doing. So it's kind of like you're basing your actions and procedures and how you run the business on a minority who are getting angry unreasonably at staff members. And you're making that out to be a bigger deal than it is, and you're siding with those particular customers who are like just sporadically angry, and you're not telling the staff members who are accused of things what's happened when it happened. And yeah, I mean, after this meeting thing with the boss, like, I talked to the other staff members who liked me and told her that, like, every staff member has supposedly said something bad about you, and they denied it and went like, no, that's not happened. The manager's lying there. Like, we haven't said anything like behind your back bad about you. This is just something that she's come up with, like she's made up. I'm like, well, and they're like very apologetic and went like, no, I would never say anything bad about you. Like, what did she say that we said? And I was like, she said she wouldn't give me specifics. So I don't know. She just said that you said something bad about me, and they're like, no, we definitely didn't. What could this be? So she was using this as some underhand tactic to make me feel bad, I think. And yeah, just like guilt tripping me further and further towards like trying to make me quit, or like trying to explain things that other people had decided to do. Like, she was making it out that the customer complaints against me was something that I'd done to her, sort of thing, and that I'd done to harm the company. It's like, no, I'm not in control of that. Like, I didn't do it to you. Like, they decided to do it. And yeah, then she just kept kind of pressuring me into leaving, basically, to the point where I'm like, well, you obviously hate me here, so there's not really any way for me to continue. And I told my dad what happened with some of the customers when I got home, and he said in his business, like, if a customer ever did that to him or some of his employees, he'd just not want to serve that customer. And yeah, some of the co-workers in the business I work for also said a similar thing, like, it's above our pay grade to deal with random harassment like that. For me, it's like, if there's a complaint, you deal with it on a case-by-case basis, and I think it's quite a legitimate complaint if a customer comes in and says, look, we've found glass fragments in our tomato ketchup or beans that we bought from you, or we got a product from you and it was completely out of date when it shouldn't have been, or we paid the wrong price for a product and we can prove it. Like, all these sorts of things are like legitimate complaints to have. Oh yeah, and then part of what she said during the meeting thing was like, she kept saying she wanted me to be happy and she wanted me to show that I was happy all the time. And I'm like, look, I'm a genuine type of person. I'm going through a really hard time in my life right now, especially at home. I've just had one of my pets die on me. I'm in this situation thing, and I was like, I'm very genuine. with people. She says some of the customers are taking your behaviour as blunt or something. And I'm like, I'm not the sort of person who'll fake a smile like a corporate salesman type guy. If you look at my advertising video, I kind of go into that. I'm not that kind of person who like fakes emotions sort of thing. So I'm polite to customers and I'm friendly with them, but you know, I can't like fake my emotions. If I'm feeling bad, then I'm not going to pretend to be happy. But if people talk to me on shift and stuff, then I generally am happy because it comes through more genuinely. Like I know that my co-worker who I'm on shift with is in a good mood with me, and they'll make the shift easier by chatting to me rather than spending the shift seeming like they have some problem with me. You know, it's very what you see is what you get kind of thing. If I'm happy, I show it. If I'm sad or unhappy, then I'll show that too. If someone asks me how I am, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm not doing too good, then I'll say I'm not doing too good. If I'm doing okay, then I'll say I'm doing okay. If I feel good, I'll tell them I feel good as an answer. Like, I'm generally not gonna lie about that. It's just not how I am. And yeah, unfortunately, the way she was pushing me in there, I ended up having a breakdown, which I shouldn't have done. I should have found a way to, I don't know, hold it at bay somehow. But I could like feel myself going, like the more she was pulling out these things to say that I shouldn't have been like working for them, you know, it just made me sad. And I think part of it was that I voiced that I was sad, and then as soon as I said that I was sad, I just started getting sad on the spot, and I couldn't help it after that point. Like I couldn't stop myself. I had a bit of a breakdown, which I didn't want to seem weak in front of her, but I couldn't stop it, to be honest. And she'd made me feel that way and left me with very little options for what to do. You know, she kept bringing out the negatives and things, and how basically she didn't want me to be there. And so all I could say after that point was to try and get me out of the situation and tell her that I'll come back with a response to it. And that response ended up being my 4 weeks notice, which I'm on now, and that'll expire in a few more weeks. And it's hard working on notice, especially when your boss has fed you the paranoia of gaslighting you, saying that all the other staff are against you, which I found out wasn't true. But you know, she said that, and now all the staff that I haven't talked to yet, you know, I'm still suspicious of them, thinking that they may have said what the boss said, and you know, may have been the ones who told her that they had a problem with me. You never know for sure, you know, it's just the boss's word. And yeah, I think no argument I could give against what she was saying was enough for her. She was coming up with phrases that are alien to me, like, you always have an answer for everything. I don't like that. And I'm like, an answer for everything? I was like answering her questions, and I was responding to the things she was saying. And she was making out like I shouldn't respond to anything she was saying, or that my responses don't matter or have no validity. And it's like, I don't know what you mean by that. It's just... And the being happy thing as well. She wanted me to be happy. It's like, are you happy here? I want you to be happy so that you can show you're happy to the customers. I'm like, I don't fake happiness. She's like, but are you happy here? You don't seem happy. And I said, well, I've got these situations at home. And she said, yeah, but here you're not happy. And I was like, well, happiness, it is kind of alien for people to think happiness is important, like something they should seek from someone. Like I don't actually think that me being happy is like an important thing. It's not something I hunt for in life. It's not something I try to aspire to. I don't try and aspire to happiness. For me, the important thing in life at the moment is freedom and property rights. And for me to tell that to her, which I didn't at the time, but if I told that to her, she'd be like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? I don't understand it. Like, that would seem alien to her. But I told her on the spot that the happiness thing is alien to me, and that it's someone else's philosophy and it's not mine. I think she paused for a moment and like did the calculating brain look, you know, the meme of the woman, like she's trying to work something out. And I'm like, okay, you clearly don't understand, but happiness is not something that's important to me that I try and achieve in life. It's alien to me. It doesn't make any sense. And she didn't understand that. And she wouldn't have understood if I went into the explanation for what I think would have been better than that. She's a normie anyway. Yeah, she just wouldn't get it. And yeah, so I knew after that point I was going to give notice. I was just, you know, after the breakdown, I was like, fuck it. Like, if she's just going to be like this every time something tiny happens and like call me into the office for an hour to just kind of misunderstand me and spiral off onto random tangents and guilt trip me that I've done something hideously wrong that I can't recover from, like over and over again, then I don't see how working for that business is going to work in the long term. And I told her, like, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay. She said, yeah, but you're not happy here, or you don't want to be happy. And I'm like, that's not my goal. That doesn't matter. If I stay and I'm not happy, it's not because the business should make me happy, or that I should, like going to work isn't about trying to be happy. Work is work. You're there to earn money. You're there to support yourself. You're there to get money for food and shelter so that you can continue living and hopefully work up the chain to get a path to promotion and get higher up the ladder so you can earn more money to the point where you're okay and like your home life is better and you can get closer to freedom and property stuff and be more set up and stable, I guess, secure, not safe. And yeah, I think even if I would have told her that, she wouldn't have understood. She wasn't understanding what I was saying anyway. And so I had to give notice, because if I didn't give notice, then this would just happen again and again and again. And I don't know how to deal with it, to be honest. I don't know how to deal with her taking something that in my previous business was just a small thing that we could, you know, if it was a valid complaint, then we take it on board, we figure out what to do, we do it better next time. We have a way of dealing with the complaint, and we can figure out whether the complaint is our fault or not. Like if it's like glass in a product, it's probably the manufacturer's fault, but we can get in touch with the manufacturer and we can apologize and we can refund the person's item. By the way, refunds in the present business take one heck of a long time for no good reason, because it's on a modern till, whereas refunds in the past business were on an older till and they're just instantaneous. Like, can I get a refund on this? Yep, bam, done. It's happened right there, right then. Like, at most it would take 1 minute to refund someone, but I don't think it's ever taken a minute. Super fast in the past business. In this business, it's like it could take 5 minutes. It's just that long. Yeah, so you can refund a product, you can apologize to the customer, you can give them another product, the same type that's free, that you give them as a reimbursement for the one that was wrong. But, you know, you take it on a case-by-case basis, like what complaints are valid, what complaints can you do something about, what complaints aren't complaints, they're just like attacking a staff member for how they are normally and stuff, and then you work with it that way. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to be going back sadly into job hunting mode very soon. Also, my car's got to go in for its annual MOT and service, so that's going to take about £200 out of my account. Yeah, I've got to try and see what's around here. I think I've mentioned on the second channel that job hunting is very hard, and it's got a lot harder over time, and I'm not entirely sure what sort of places I can apply at. I just try everywhere that's local, see what comes of it. I think the sun is heading for a sunset. It's certainly lower in the sky. It's not actually hit the deck of the horizon yet, but we're getting some nice shadows and stuff up here. Thank you for watching.